Tarot is a set of cards that is often used in fortune telling and divination. Each card has an assigned archetype that can explain an aspect of someone's life. There are 22 such cards in a deck that form the major arcana, but we will be looking at 5 of them. The magician embodies focus, willpower, and the ability to manifest one's desires into reality. Since this card focuses on unleashing one's potential and creativity, Killjoy is an apt choice for this card. Except for the posing of the character, the cards are pretty similar to one another. Symbols like the infinity and the table cluttered with tools are essential and provide much of the meaning of this card through symbolism. But before we talk about the magician, we must talk about the fool. The fool depicts a youth joyfully walking towards a cliff with no care in the world. A dog barks at him, trying to warn the fool, so oblivious of the danger ahead. Whether the fool is naive or simply unaware, we do not know. The zero on the card marks it as the very first card of the major arcana, a card that portrays new beginnings and endless possibilities, hence its connection to the infinity in the magician card. But it also displays the naivety and the ignorance that comes with these new beginnings. Through Fate's dossier, it is made clear that Killjoy's lack of concern and foresight may have led her to inadvertently cause a lot of harm and destruction. Fate prompts Killjoy to think about all the blood on her hands. So it's like an Oppenheimer situation going on. This is clear through some of her in-game voice lines, where she talks about the inventions her teammates might encounter on the field, even ones that might harm them.
I built literally everything on this battlefield. Yeah, even the things that might kill us. What? You want me to say sorry?
It is also implied that Killjoy's machines hurt Lucia in some way, and Killjoy seems to be pretty nonchalant about it.
You can trust my bots. They only malfunctioned that one time, and honestly, she won't miss that finger.
I remember the machines Killjoy made. What they did to... Never mind. It does not matter.
It always feels like Reyna is after me personally. Does anyone else feel that way? No? Just me?
The infinity present in both cards indicates the infinite possibilities of creation and the potential within. We know that she's a genius. Killjoy is an accomplished inventor and the head of research and development at Kingdom at the age of 18. And that leads us to the tools. In the Fortune's hand card, the wand is synonymous to the torque wrench or spanner that she holds in her right hand. I may be wrong about what kind of tool it is, but it looks like a wand. The coffee mug relates to the cup or the chalice. The pentacle relates to the circular glass construct, which is probably some kind of an observation instrument, like a magnifying glass. While the sword is related to her nanoswarm ability and her bracelet, as a nanoswarm is an active offensive ability that she uses, so it's very fitting. The tools at the disposal of the magician help them realize their will, but more importantly, these tools allow the magician to utilize the potential innate in the fool. After her recruitment into the VALORANT protocol, Killjoy has been a valuable asset to the roster. She is responsible for making Brimstone's bracer, reverse engineering the spike, creating the diffuser, reconstructing and powering the Alpha Omega portal, extracting information, identifying threats, and so much more. Regardless of the apathy and the ignorance that she displays, we have concrete proof that she is capable of sympathy and concern. She understands the value of human lives. In a voicemail to Brimstone, she is audibly shaken by the events that transpire at the Everard Lynn facility that lead to the creation of fracture as we know it.
Brim, hey. It's me. Sorry, I keep thinking about Everett Lind. They were light years ahead of us with their LRC program. It was sublime. The data on radionite exposure, the biome acceleration. Even in its failure, it can teach us so much. And yet, seeing the husk of the facility? It's the people. All those people. Brim, they weren't even soldiers. They were scientists. They didn't have a chance to Sorry. I have to go. Call me back, please.
Killjoy and her low perfectly fits the Fool and the Magician. I literally cannot think of a better agent that fits these archetypes. The High Priestess represents the unknown and a connection to the subconscious mind. Secrets, wisdom, tenacity, and the future unrevealed is what forms the main motif of this card. We can't really make out what's behind the High Priestess. In every other Fortune's Hand card, the background is clearly visible. But there seems to be a fog behind Fade, hiding the background from view. A veil, if you will, similar to the one behind the High Priestess in the tarot card. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the halo behind the character's head in every Fortune's Hand card. The halo portrays the characters as divinities. It represents these individuals and their strength as gods. Fade's radiance manifests as the nightmare, which is an entity that exists in her mind. Communicating with the nightmare and using her powers comes at a cost of her mental health and well-being.
I paid a heavy price to commune with Nightmare. Don't waste it.
So it's pretty interesting that Fade's halo that represents her divinity has tendrils grasping at it, circling it. Such a clever way to portray how Fade is affected by her own powers. We also have proof that she uses coffee and energy drinks to keep herself awake for as long as possible, so we know that the fatigue is physical as well.
Brimstone, we're out of those little coffee pod things in the common room. I don't use them, but when they're gone, everyone starts drinking my tea. And please understand, it's very expensive tea. Thank you.
Now let's talk about her pillars. The pillars in the tarot cards are inspired from the Temple of Solomon, representing the establishment of God and his strength. These pillars represent a transition into a holy presence. In passing through these pillars, one symbolically moves from the outside world into the presence of God, a transition from negative to positive. This is the outside view of the Temple of Solomon. Now, I'm just going to call the pillars B and J to keep it simple. Pillar J is on the left and pillar B is on the right. Therefore, from the orientation of the pillars in the High Priestess tarot card, we can figure out that the High Priestess is shown inside the temple, representing her as a divine figure. So the reversed orientation of the pillars in Fade's card may represent her transition from positive to negative. It might represent how her future is uncertain or dangerous, or how her powers may help her in accomplishing her goals at her own detriment. This seems to be the general theme of the card, with the pillars covered in tendrils and shadow, just like her halo. The High Priestess is depicted as querent. A querent is a person or entity who asks a question or seeks information. They have a specific inquiry or topic they want guidance on, and they approach a knowledgeable individual or a system to obtain answers or advice. This is a major part of her story. The blackmail arc starts with Fate demanding answers from the VALORANT protocol about a missing person that she had been searching for. She now cooperates with the protocol on the premise that they will help her get closer to her missing person.
I carry your banner as long as it brings me closer to him.
There was an audio log we got a while back where Fade has a horrible nightmare.
Brimstone, the nightmare came to me with a vision. Different from the rest, I saw the walls holding our world together fall apart. I felt the wind go still. I could smell the bitterness of blood and bile. I heard small, uncertain voices crying out, and I could taste the fear. There was so much of it, like the whole planet had fever. So I climbed. This tall cliff. It was jagged as bone, stretching up, dizzying. But with broken fingers, I reached the top and saw the end of our time. A silent window, stretching over the ocean, filled with dead faces. And then I woke up. Brimstone, I have seen many things in my line of work, but we must not let this come to pass.
Based on the present information, some think that this may be the Radiant War to happen in the future. Descriptions of death and destruction, blood and bile, fear spanning the planet do sound familiar to the scenes we see in KO's Agent trailer. But again, this is just speculation. We can see how Fate's future is filled with prophecies, unanswered questions, and mysteries, which makes the esoteric High Priestess a good fit for our esoteric dream seer from Turkey. The Empress conveys themes of fertility, nurturing, and abundance. The symbolism of the Empress card is much simpler than the others. Fields of wheat and water symbolizes abundance and the nurturing aspects of nature. She also has a halo with spikes, which can be interpreted as a crown because she's an empress, or the sun, which ties in well with the nature and abundance motif. Through Fate's dossier, we know that Reyna created a community where broken things can mend, in Fate's own words. She visits the sanctuary between missions and finances it all by herself. Once in a while, other agents also make donations towards the sanctuary.
The sanctuary is grateful for your support chamber, but do not expect any favors.
Señora Mondragón, me alegro de verle. I have a gift for the children at the sanctuary. Remind me after this.
Now, maybe it's just a strategic move to curry favor with one of the veteran members of the protocol. Or maybe it's genuine sympathy and kindness towards the sanctuary and its people. A token of respect towards Reyna and her selfless goal as a matriarch. It's also pretty cool that her throne doesn't seem to have a symmetrical structure, which hints at the fact that it's a natural formation of rock or wood, which again ties in with the nature motif, and takes some of the focus away from her being regal or a royalty, because that isn't the point here. Her throne is covered with roses. Roses have always been used to represent love, passion, and desire. But roses are also known for their prickly thorns. Reyna has contempt for kingdom. We know this from her dossier when Fates talks about securing innocence from under the kingdom's microscope. She also expresses her disdain towards kingdom in a lot of her voice lines.
Kingdom bleeds our planet once again. Too many scars to count.
And we also have a voice line from Reyna talking to Brimstone when they discover the Elder Grotto of the Scions of Hourglass.
Is it true? Our history was filled with radiance? How long have the Scions committed this crime? No puedo creerlo, malditos! It is unforgivable! They erased us! This place is our legacy. It belongs to Radiance, and they stole it! I will see it returned, and we will destroy the Scions!
Hiding or erasing, quote unquote, is an obvious euphemism towards imprisoning and killing Radiance, which is something that they've been doing for a long time to hide the existence of Radianite. This gives us a small amount of perspective as to why Reyna is so protective of Radiance and her people. Radiants haven't really been treated well throughout all of undiscovered history. But despite the thorns that prick her, she sits on that throne still, because she has a responsibility. She wants to provide for her loved ones and the people that she cares about, regardless of how much it hurts her.
As much as this world hurt me, it's mine, and I will kill to defend it.
The Empress also holds a scepter, which symbolizes authority and control over the natural world. The matter coming out of Reyna's scepter can be seen as water if you try to draw parallels from the Empress card. But if I were to be a bit bold, this flowing matter might be the life essence that she consumes. Look how she holds the scepter by the orb, and she uses her left hand for it, the same hand she uses to consume soul orbs and throw leers in-game. This life essence is required for her powers to function, but she does have another use for it. Lucia is Reyna's baby sister, the person she loves the most in the world. Let's take a look at a voicemail in which Viper informs Brimstone to increase Reyna's mission assignment.
Brim, I need you to increase Reyna's mission assignments. She has to collect more souls. We're already pushing the boundaries of the equipment, but I need more. It's the transfer process. I'm losing too much in the conversion. For every unit infused, another 2 are lost. Life energy isn't exactly my area of expertise. I know this has dragged on. I thought I'd have a solution by now, a way to stabilize the chemical radiant equilibrium, but... But we owe it to Reyna. Collecting enough life for the both of them, it can't be easy. As long as the child lives, I have to keep trying. Because if we fail, I don't know what Reyna will do.
This voicemail gives us a lot of answers regarding the connection between Viper and Reyna. It shows her willingness to go above and beyond for her sister and how deep her love runs for her. We know that Reyna means queen, but did you know that Lucia means light? Reyna's little sister is quite literally the light of her life. Some of this affection can also be seen in her interactions with other agents like Gecko.
Reyna, you keep like glancing at me. Why are you smiling?
Sorry, cariño. You remind me of someone.
These interactions portray an elder sister / younger brother dynamic between the two.
Bien hecho, Gecko. Ustedes también, chiquitines. Escúchame, Gecko. I am with you. No tienes que hacer todo solo.
I mention these interactions between them not only because it's a similar kind of love and concern she has for Lucia. I show them because with the introduction of younger agents to the roster, Reyna seems to be opening up a bit, and I appreciate that a lot. Interactions with Clove imply that they have been visiting Lucia, which probably requires a lot of trust from Reyna's side.
Reyna, a certain someone tells me you play guitar. You have to play for us later. No getting out of it.
We also know that Clove has offered to help Lucia. From how the dialogue goes, we can guess that Reyna declined.
Reyna, the offer stands. Take whatever life you need from me. She deserves it.
All in all, the Empress card is a perfect fit for Reyna. I hope to see more interactions between Reyna and the other agents. The Hermit card depicts a man standing at the peak of a mountain with a staff and a lantern. This card represents the commitment one holds towards the goal that they have set out to achieve. The Hermit wears a huge, oversized robe that covers all of him. Huge garments are often interpreted as a sign of antisociality or anonymity. Let's take a look at characters from other stories. From the Dark Souls universe, we have Big Hat Logan, who was a great sorcerer and a teacher to many students. With time, however, he got tired of the attention and donned a large hat to hide his face, earning him his nickname. And this is him sitting down near a bonfire. The comically large hat literally covers all of him. And here we have Vex, a champion from League of Legends. Growing up in the whimsy and color of Bandle City, which is her hometown, Vex never felt like she belonged, and thus she found an unlikely soulmate in her own shadow, with a floppy, clumsy hood, oversized sleeves, and an expression of indifference on her face. And an honorable mention to Spider Noir. Cypher has a similar apparel that covers all of him, as anonymity is a huge part of his uncovered story. Just like the Hermit needs their oversized robes to keep them warm on their journey, Cypher also needs his robes and hat for surveillance and espionage. Just like the Hermit needs their lantern to show them the way, Cypher needs information to inform his next moves, which might be the reason why Cypher holds a tripwire instead of a lantern in his card. The artists have drawn parallels between the equipment these characters use in a very elegant manner. And now, let's talk about the mountain. The mountain denotes the accomplishments of the Hermit and the commitment it takes. Sova has a complicated relationship with Cypher, but he acknowledges how important Cypher really is to the protocol.
Brimstone, I do not understand. Our secrets were buried deep, but the blackmailer has everything. Cypher has rivals, but they are not behind this. He claims the work is too impressive, and if Cypher's impressed, we should all be very concerned. Commander, the strike team to apprehend this blackmailer. You asked for my recommendations. Besides myself, we must send Cypher. No one else can handle surveillance of an entire city.
Using the data Killjoy gathered during the Shattered cinematic, Cypher was able to establish a backdoor access to Omega. In patch 12.1, Cypher poses as Lieutenant Delacroix from Atlas and urges Omega Viper to check some files containing evidence against her. He makes the situation look dire and prompts Omega Viper to verify the encrypted files urgently. In patch 12.2, Omega Viper follows up on the message, confirming that there was nothing significant in the files. Omega Viper is angry at this false alarm by Delacroix, commenting on his incompetence. But in the same patch, we also receive a report from Fade. Fade and Cypher were successful in establishing some kind of an audio bug or relay that allows them to listen in on Omega VALORANT, which might help greatly in informing future decisions. The way I look at it, the encrypted files were a Trojan horse made by Cypher. When Omega Viper decrypted the files and opened them, Fade and Cypher took the opportunity to plant a bug into Omega Viper's system. Cypher also helps Wise find other Scions of Hourglass locations for Wise to hunt down. These are just a few instances that establish Cypher as one of the crucial pillars of the Valorant protocol, without whom the protocol shall crumble. There is also a deep commitment Cypher has to his goal, a solid awareness of the path that he is taking. At the end of their journey, the Hermit stands on the apex of the mountain, all alone. Isolation and sacrifice are the byproducts of this commitment, and Cypher is no exception. In Fade's dossier to Cypher, Fade reveals how Cypher hasn't shown his face to any of the agents. Cypher has considered revealing himself, his face, and information about himself, but decided not to. Even his child is no exception to this. What is the end game? What does Cypher want to achieve? When will he return back to his family? The Judgement card represents rebirth and awakening. The Judgement card shows women, men, and children rising from the grave to respond to an angel's call. Their outstretched arms symbolize that they are ready to be judged. The massive tidal wave in the background signifies that judgment is unavoidable. One of the first distinctions of Sage's scars from the others is that she doesn't have a halo, she has an aureole. An aureole is a ring of light that surrounds a holy figure and signifies a high level of sanctity and power. All of the other agents are really important to the protocol in their own right, but Sage is about the only agent that, in a sense, is closer to godhood. But I digress. The meaning of the card focuses on self-evaluation and judgment. We make choices that have an effect on our lives and many others. The consequences of those choices will eventually catch up to us, and this card indicates that the time has finally come. In Fate's dossier, she talks about some kind of a toll and how it keeps climbing. Fate gives us insights into how Sage's acts really aren't as selfless as we think they are.
You know, I've been trying to put myself in his shoes. Finally understanding more about his past and feeling a sense of shame that he is struggling to overcome. It's a terrible feeling, Brimstone. One that I think I understand because, well, I have felt it too. He and I are both burdened by past wrongs.
In this particular segment, Sage talks about a sense of shame and how she has felt it too. The shame being talked about here, with respect to Omen, can be his realization that he used to be an assassin, and a really good one at that. Is this something related to Sage and her powers, or a past decision that she made? In an animated shot named After the Fight, we see that the crystal build-up on Sage is quicker and covers more of her body than before compared to previous cinematics. She has to strain extra hard, and it takes a lot to keep going. The rapid build-up, the physical strain, the vision and the voice probably indicate that she is reaching her limit. The outstretched arms in the tarot card are similar to the cracked jade hands in the Fortune's hand card for Sage. I think the hands being cracked point at Sage and her ability to mend broken things. There is an extra detail in the Fortune's hand card a yellow flower. The yellow flower seems to be growing a bud, which can represent new life. On closer inspection, the flower seems to be a yellow bell. The interesting thing about yellow bells, though, is that they have medicinal value. Early on, they were used to cure diabetes and diseases related to the digestive system, so it fits really well. Interestingly, it is also known to be a very potent anti-venom. Now, I would start talking about how this relates to Viper and her rocky relationship with Sage, about Viper's involvement in the recent plotline. But the Fortune's Hand card came a while ago, so it's probably just a coincidence. Well, the flower is also yellow. Yellow is a color that is known for representing happiness and optimism, which is something her positive and nurturing attitude also promotes. This card is really interesting. It shows Sage as a divinity that heals and guides people. We have seen examples of this with Omen and Jet and Phoenix and a lot of other agents. Yet, she is the one that must face judgment. If you think I missed something in my interpretation, let me know. If you enjoyed watching this video, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.